Hello. I am Habibie, the creator of the eye script that you see inside our YouTube channel. The purpose of producing these scripts is to make the rig and skin 3D models in Maya software. Today from these scripts, I offer a script together with each other, and how to do this script together we want to see. To download this script is enough to link below the same video that. Click the purchase link for this script and buy at a very cheap price. How many of them introduced that you can link to their link below are the same videos and use them after this script. Download, just open the zip file in a file. Install is inside it in the format that. Just take it and leave it inside the Maya. This will see that an icon will be created inside the Maya icon that clicks this interface icon. The script opens. That I click see the user interface open. Has a very simple environment. In this part we can make the name of the eye. In this part of our eye type we have two types of eyes, real and fantasy eyes. Any eye catching by selecting these options, we can make it rig, and skin. That with. I will explain to you an example. In the fantasy section, we can use this script as expression or node base. That is the optional part of your own. If you like expression or node base you can pick up. But the performance of both. A function. Well, for action. Better. Just inside our folder. A file. With a Maya format. Choose and put inside the Maya. When we put an error, give us this very important. Don't go down and the project opens. Error also gave us the models of our eyes were made in previous versions. And to open it a little. It had trouble. But in the end, it will open inside the Maya 25. That I have now that. I'll explain to you. Well, one by one we go to the eyes and the eye project. The first thing we need to know, we have two types of eyes here, and the fantasy eyes of the fantasy eyes, and the real. That. The front of the eye is circular. And butter or perfect or half butter. See? Like this. Means circle. But our real eyes are the eyes of an indentation in the center of that part. Iris, or there's a pupil eye, see? One indentation. There are. That is now closed. To a model that. You can use these types of eyes to use this type of eye that is out. In essence, both fantasy and real. It can be rec. With a very small difference I will tell you in the example. But all the pamphlets of the real eyes are now available. I wrote the names of those who are fantasy. That are real and open. I wrote that all kinds of springs, and on all of these this script answered. And approved. Starting from this fantasy eye. Simple, I use its normal state. That's even. Its vertex and its members in the form of a butter. It is perfect. For the form of this action. Just us. Edge. Choose. And in the middle of the loop. When on. Let's make this option. In essence, help that is open. To the point that I forgot to say is that a series of images here have to be shown, that it can't be displayed right now. Image help, which is inside the folder, must be inserted into the script folder. That is enough to put this in this script. And run it, see. The image was loaded now. This shows us exactly what part of us. From the eye we can choose or have to choose. Well. So I come to central edge, and the middle. Eye. We choose. Well, and after we have chosen. Leopard. Press. Up to these selected edges. To be select here, and to be known. The next part, and our next button, that if I question this mark, is the white eye part. That must be the edges of this part. Choose. That is better for when we start the part we choose the part we are in principle later from pupil or people. Nabby. Use. Now I have this white part. I choose edges. And I see. By yellowing a vertex this action. Approve that the item. Enter this part. Our next button. If I hit again on the question mark you will see that this is the part that is colored. Now it is in this purple. It's blue. The iris, I choose the section. And this section when selected was on the button. Related to it. I pushed to close it. Our next button at the center of the eye or the black eye, or the pupil of the eye. And if I open it, see now inside this picture. This is how the black part of the red line has to be chosen in the black part of this eye. This is me. I will see the edges and then hit the corresponding button. And in the last part of the last loop, we have the last loop. In principle, we choose to be as the end of the loop. It's end. Another point is that the faster the loop is forward, and the end is the end of the work we have to choose. Until the efficiency of the script is better, I choose this part and press the final loop. Now what the data we were supposed to give to the script is over. Here we just come and press the skins build and skin. I pushed and control was made for that. That moves the eye by moving this control, and by selecting this control of a series of options added to it. That to move in. The principle of the episodes. The iris or pupil is the eye. See the first part. White eye completely. Tall or open. And part eye. See. This full iris is plural or it opens. And we can move at the same time, every round and move. See. To the end we can do this. Let's do this. Originally, in our script is in the real eye section, if our eyes were fantasy. And we have to use the fantasy section, but real also responds to the eyes in a problem. It can't. This is optional with your choice in optional. And let's go without closing the window because our information inside, if I close the information, will be lost as it is open. It's part fantasy. That because requirements are needed, or if we choose the bottom two, that is the iris and pupil, we can pupil. Let's see it. CC. Or that. Move all three with each other. That to the end. Open eye. And closed. Can I? In node mode. This is. I convert it to see the same performance in the node mode. The door of node editor, it to face node is placed, and it is the previous one as expression. That open eye if that previous. Select expression. See. Here we are. We have this expression series. Then see me if I do this. You'll see input and output the same as expression inside this appointment. Okay, well, to test it yourself, CC. Operated. Exploration head. Node. They are quite similar, that is what happens here. Difference to this real eye and fantasy eyes. It's oh, I'm not changing it right now to be that. This side eye is the only difference, is that it is a semi-butter that did the same on the same eye. It is done. For now, I don't miss this time to miss this time. The next model of the rig. I'm here. In this episode. From the center now, I will not give the extra explanations, but what's from the center, because the new eye is the new. I close it and open it again. To be disabled, I choose from the center. The middle loop button. I choose to. This part. I know that I choose the white part of the eye. I hit the second and relevant button, that again here. We have the same image and the episode. Part. Iris eye. I choose the pupil part to the center of the eye, in fantasy eyes, and at the end. Edge final and ends double-click select. And I get the edge of the loop. Here we have a check and check too. That this check control. To test it before doing the final steps that are nothing special. Just to check our control in the center of the eye. It takes. This. Shows us nothing special. And by hitting this. Build Rick, skin control is built. Eye movement. Move. Whitening. And spread. Eye white and part. Iris and pupils at the same time. That happens to her, but because I said before we can use this in fantasy and see from at the same time we can move both. But fantasy eyes, if from the part. Second means to use fantasy. Because of this I will kill. And this part. Build and skin fantasy. That here we have three options. C. All active. They are C. Purple and I white. C to the end we can do the job, or even white iris itself. The white iris and even pupil up to the end. Transfer it and see the pupil itself. That is, it must be completely. The ends, that must be 3 sections of the independent eye. Move. Inside this script we have another option that may not need this contrast and just need to have the same 3. That's why we have an option here that by disabling we can add the control ourselves manually, assuming a single control of us ourselves. Make it anywhere where the important thing is, well, this controls us. We choose, and inside this we can give the value by clicking select that control and select this button. His name comes in, and by clicking build rig and skin we see that 3 of the options to this control is added, means originally we are inside this control and move the other eye control by moving. Wouldn't make and move these 3 options, that these 3 options. It's active. There may be an eye that has pre-control in advance and does not need to be controlled. We can use this method, or can even be, instead of this, use a group or any object that we can choose. We can choose the eye on your own. And here, put in this knife and put. By selecting your eye control, see these 3 options. You can be active and disabled and made, you see. No problem. I get back this. I tick to automatically made control. Let's go to the next eye of this eye. Look, its center is empty. Now let's see how it looks like in the fantasy mode. I close it. Open. I will choose the interface and choose a 3rd name, because if with this name we go error, because this is the contrary. With this outer in control, our 2nd had a number of an additional. And here we can change the name again. Let's leave B and let's go. The steps was supposed to be initially edges, central, choose the middle. After that, enter button. Here's the white part of the eye. This part, iris eye, and here, that edges that we choose to go to the center of going to the end. Here, in this last option we have to finish that. In the out of the edges that I have already told you already. The outer of the most edges and the end are in 2 of the characteristics. They are both outside, and we choose to do better. I choose it. See this eye in this model. I choose. And the name we changed here to Build Happy So Closed. Move the control. It's real. Purple and white with the iris. They make one. See. One problem is that we have an extra model. Now that we have an extra model, that black on the back of the eyes, cover it manually. We can. To the last joint added to our added. I will kill. See yourself. I choose the eye. I hide this part. I choose your own mesh here, and the last join of our and in your name skin between skin. Returns the eye now to see the control to see what happened. Now, that secret kernel center could now not connect to the end joint. To the join ahead, attach it to this. Size large and smaller than not usual. That is a setting with. It's yourself. Can you make changes to see which one is better? Go to the next eye of this open eye. The eye of the point is that we are is real from this model use. I have a selection. See 3 options gave us. The first, second option, and third. Now we move it at the same time, yes. See answering again. That. The problem we had before. It can be separately be a member of these joints to be with. Joints move, but it is generally good to see it complete. I too. The end means that for this mode, we can use this script for both fantasy and real. The next eye of this eye. Yes. The center of that closed is. Can we test it? Yes. It is completely closed, but the end of that is completely. You have a disaster. Test on this eye and close my eyes. From, we choose the central, wrap the middle loop, white part of the eye. We choose. Here, we choose the color and the eye. And at the end, edge final, we choose. And, see now if I do this, the error that we have had such a name before, so we have to change its name. Now, moving the eyes of the real face, pupil and iris and white eye. Well, that's it for now. Eye types we can with this script. Stin and rig can be usable. You can download it and subscribe to our channel. Introduce. Also, I posted under the same video that you can from there. Go on. Download. Goodbye.